Hey all, Tony Bing here. Hello and welcome to another in-depth review for Marvel Strike Force. Now, thankfully, my voice is feeling a bit better so I can start getting these rolling out again. So the one I'll be starting off with today is the awesome Hawkeye. Looking forward to doing this one. Now, in the video, I will have a look at the general overview of him first and where you go to unlock him. We'll then check out his stats. We'll have a look at his abilities. We'll then look at the synergies, and that includes characters you want to avoid and characters he's powerful against, and then finally we'll see where he places in the overall tier list. And I've actually updated that a little bit to hopefully make it a bit easier to read, so let me know in the comments if you like the new format of it. But first off, we'll look at where you go to unlock him in a general overview. So if we look at the tags for Hawkeye first, so he's Hero, Global, Skill, Controller, Avenger and also Shield. The important ones there being the Avenger and Shield, because Shield means you can work towards getting him up to 5-star so he can help out with the Iron Man event, and also the Avenger one, because I'm pretty certain in time we'll get some kind of event where we need to unlock a character and we'll need 5 Avengers. I've got a feeling that the Nick Fury one might actually be the one that would have that particular requirement. That would make sense. When we look at where he can be farmed, it's actually 2 places in the story, so that's pretty good. So you can get your shards for him nice and quick. You've got heroes 6.6 and then you've got villains 1.9 as well. So what we'll do next anyway is we'll actually check out his stats. For the stats here then, we've got 6 stats in total to look at. We have 3 defensive stats and also 3 offensive stats. I scale them on a rating of A to F, and the way I've worked this out is by looking at the maximum and minimum stats of characters. That's after I've removed any outliers and then I've took an average, and then I can break that down to each of the 6 different categories there. So the first set of stats we look at anyway will be the offensive stats. So Hawkeye is a controller class then, so that means his damage is going to be on the lower side. Now despite that, as we're running through the offensive stats, as we get to the end we'll see some things that can actually pull the damage up a little bit and make him actually quite nice from an offensive perspective. But his damage is sitting at E at the moment. We've got his speed, which is B, great for getting his attacks off quick and getting the debuffs on enemies. And his focus is A, so focus is what helps your debuffs apply and gives you a higher chance of them applying. So that would be, for example, he's blind, which is exceptionally important in his kit. Now, talking about his damage, he actually has 15% crit on his basic attack and he has 170% accuracy. Normally heroes have 100. Now what that means is if he's blinded himself, for example, blind removes 100% accuracy, he still has that 70% accuracy there, which means he still has a high chance to actually hit the enemy, as he should. He's Hawkeye after all. But what we'll do now is we'll check out the defensive stats. Defensive wise then, Hawkeye does fall a bit on the lower side, but it's what you would expect. He's not a character you would expect to be that durable. He's all about moving quickly and really evading enemies. So if you look at the stats in question, we've got health, armour and resistance. So his health is down at E, he's bottom tier for that. Armour is C, and then resistance is D. So with the resistance being quite low, it means that he can be susceptible to debuffs from the enemy, so that's something you do need to look out for it. Next up, what we'll do is we'll check out his skills, and these are really awesome. We have 3 skills to look at here. Then you've got the basic, the special, the ultimate, and then we've got the passive as well. Now the tooltip that I'm showing off would be the skill actually maxed out, so that's level 7 for skills and level 5s for passive. Now on the subject of the passive, this is Shot in the Dark. I really like this one. So on turn, 50% chance to attack an enemy with stealth for 200% unavoidable damage, and it clears stealths from that particular enemy. So that can be really great on a target like, let's say, Elektra for example. She stealths up so she can try to stay alive to get off her massive hard-hitting ultimate attack, but with Hawkeye you've got a 1 in 2 chance to remove that stealth from one, actually do a nice portion of damage. So that can really work out great. For his basic skill, we have Dead Eyes. You attack the primary target for 250% unavoidable damage. Now the way unavoidable damage works is that if the enemy has evade on them or if they have a chance to dodge, this will negate both of these. So it can be great for taking out somebody like Nebula, for example, because she has high uptime on her evade. On this skill you also gain a 15% crit chance and deal 20% piercing with this attack. Now personally I would only really take this skill up to about level 6, and that will give you the 250% damage and 10% crit chance, and you'll still get the 20% piercing as well there. With the special skill here we start to see where Hawkeye excels, and it's all in his crowd control. So this takes 4 turns to charge, but you can use it at the start of battle, so it's great for taking taunts off of tanks such as Drax, for example, who starts the match with a taunt. It's Concussion Arrow, so you attack the primary target and adjacent targets for 150% damage, which isn't a lot, but this skill's not about doing damage. What it also does is it clears all positive effects from primary and adjacent targets. So you need to go up to level 7 for it to clear all positive effects. At level 6 it only clears 3, so I would say it is worth maxing out this skill. It also reduces the speed bar of primary targets by 20%, so if a character's potentially about to fire off a skill and you hit them with this, you can slow them down and hopefully take them out before they can fire off that skill. So great little skill, this one. For his ultimate we have what is potentially one of the best skills in the game. Now this is called Air Burst. With this you attack all enemies for 190% unavoidable damage, which is pretty nice. However, at level 7 you apply blind to all targets, which is incredible. Now I will mention that at level 6 you will still apply blind to all targets, but you only do 140% unavoidable damage, so if you're trying to save up on your tier 3 materials you may want to take this to level 6, but it's a fantastic skill because you've got stuns and so on, and they'll delay an attack, but with the blind the enemy will potentially fire off a huge AoE. Let's say Quake is blinded and then she uses her AoE, that's it, it's gone. She's not going to get it recharged again unless the match goes on for another 4 or 5 rounds and it's been wasted. So incredible skill here. Now what we'll check out next, now that we've covered the abilities, is we'll have a look at his synergies. For this section then we'll look at the characters that Hawkeye can work well against, and we'll also look at the enemies that you want to avoid when you're playing as Hawkeye. Now when it comes to allies we're a bit on the lighter side here, but I will say that Hawkeye can really fit into any team and add value to it. But characters that really stand out would be Black Widow, because she can speed up Avengers and Shield, and Hawkeye actually has both of those tags. And then Captain America, because he gets an extra 5% block chance when Avengers are in the same team as him. Now because this section is a little bit on the lighter side, I'll actually mention enemies that Hawkeye can be good against. So we've got Black Widow and Elektra, because he's got the 1 in 2 chance to remove the stealth on them, and they are quite squishy, so if you can get that stealth removed you can get them burned down quickly. Due to all the unavoidable damage on his skills, he can be good against the likes of Spidey or Nebula, who have evades as well there. So with that covered, we'll check out the enemies you want to avoid when you're playing as Hawkeye. Like the last section here, this one's a little bit on the lighter side again. It's not to say that there's not a lot of characters that can be dangerous to Hawkeye, because he is a glass cannon, but there's not a great amount of characters that can really nullify what he does when it comes to the controller aspect. The ones that you would want to look out for would be Jessica Jones, Doctor Strange. I can say that because we've already had a sneak at his kit, you can see that in the last video I actually done, and also Scientist Supreme. Now the reason you want to avoid the 3 of these is that you could work charging up your ultimate skill, fire it off, blind the entire team, and then each of these 3 different characters has got the ability to actually remove that across the entire team, so that would be wasted. So that is something to bear in mind there. But what we'll do now to finish up the video is we'll look at the overall tier placing for him. So overall, putting any bias aside I do have towards Hawkeye, he is a really fantastic character. He's nice and easy to farm, he's got arguably one of the best skills in the game, and he's also Hawkeye as well. So let's see where we would place him on the tier list. As mentioned then, made some slight changes to this to make it hopefully easier to read. So you've got the most powerful characters on the left, and then as we work our way to the right, that's where characters get weaker there. So if we look at Hawkeye, we would place him as a mega tier. Now the reason he's in a mega tier is, as mentioned a moment ago, he's arguably got one of the best ultimates in the game. He's easy to farm, and when I think about the mega gear and characters that would fall into it, I look at characters that can really work in any team, which Hawkeye can do, and also characters that can bring something to the game that no other character can. At the moment, no one else has got that group wide blind, and also they're removing all the buffs on a particular enemy. So if you've got somebody like Luke Cage who's just put death proof and regen and taunt on himself, Hawkeye can remove all of that in one turn. So absolutely fantastic character, and he without a doubt deserves his spot in a mega tier. So I hope this particular video has been useful. Later on tonight, potentially, I'll hopefully get Gamora or Hawkeye done. Let me know in the comments below what one you would like to see next. And as always, thanks for tuning in for this video. Hope it's been helpful, and I'll see you all again soon.